his life. That stupid kid at the pool party is like, no one's gonna hurt you. Now the last fucking thing I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna go up to a crazy burnt motherfucker with a glove on his hand with razor knives and say, no one's gonna hurt you. I was like, and he's like, it's okay. And then Freddy Krueger's like, help yourself, fucker. And then he like, and then he slaps his.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah.
Okay, guys, welcome back once again.
Okay, guys.
It's We Watched a Movie time. A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's fucking Revenge. That's not what the title says. It says Freddy's Revenge.
That'd be well to see.
Yes, it was. This was made in 1985, 1 year after the release of the Nightmare on Elm Street 1. I think that's right.
I think they had a $2.2 million budget. It was almost double the one of the first movie.
And Wes Craven didn't come back for this. Wes Craven said he read the script for Nightmare 2 and thought it was completely inferior. He thought that the movie, the first one was, you know, it was his, so he's like, oh yeah, the second one sucks. I don't even want to, that script is stupid. Jesse is a new kid that moves to town and he's kind of an outcast, kind of an insecure kid, and Freddy Krueger finds in this kid something and wants to take control of him, to possess him, to do his bidding for him on Earth, and ultimately to allow Freddy to come back as Jesse. He would basically take Jesse's body over. It's an Exorcist story, pretty much.
Yeah, his family had moved into Nancy's old house.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. Always know your fucking history of the house. Like, when I bought my house, I wanted to make sure that it was new, it was fresh, and no one had died in it.
Yeah, but the father was like, well, how do you think we got such a good deal, darling?
Yeah, there's a fucking butcher here.
He was a quintessential, like, dick dad. She's like, he needs our help. And he was like, what he needs is a methadone clinic.
He needs to go kicking his ass.
Why didn't you feed that damn bird?
Yeah, I tell you what happened. He's like, you put a goddamn cherry bomb on him. That's what you did. I told you it was that fucking bird seed. And this movie is very, very debated amongst all horror fans, really. And it's got a lot of hate. I used to hate this movie when I was a kid. I watched it like maybe 1 or 2 times total. And then I never really gave it a chance. Going back now and watching it, I enjoyed it a little bit more than I thought I would.
It starts out kind of annoying. It's the girl brings in this whole, maybe you have a psychic connection to him.
Stupid.
I'm going to bring you back to the boiler room. This is where all the things with Freddy happen. It was just like, really? Once she got off of her stupid spiel and stopped being so annoying, then we get into the movie. But the thing is that Jesse, the main guy, is such an awkward character.
Yeah,
he's
he
such
really
an awkward leading man. He's not that bad of an actor at some points. Some points it's like, okay, that was okay. And then all of a sudden something will happen and he'll scream. It's a glove.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. But I understand that his acting was kind of weird. I thought Freddy Krueger in this one looked really, really good. Like, his makeup was phenomenal. The entire structure of Freddy's face was changed for this movie. His cheekbones were raised up. His nose was given a crook in the, his nose was bent around. And the makeup effects artist said that he thought that they didn't know what they had in the first one, so he made his face look more like a witch-like, more like a male witch. And his eyes, which were green, which were Robert Englund's eyes in the first one, were given like a dark red demonic look. And that's why there's one specific scene that I'll never forget. When he says, you've got the body and I've got the brain, which is iconic in and of itself, that whole saying. He pulls back, his skin and his brain is there. But when they show his eyes, just a little pinprick of light on his eyes and he's talking to Jesse, that part right there was friggin' scary.
Yeah, not just that, but the way his skin was. It was so like, just, it looked like it was like a beating heart almost. It was just
gooey.
disgusting, yeah. And every time you saw him, he was gross and he seemed meaner and a lot just more gruesome, and it almost made him scarier in certain parts. There were certain scenes in this movie with Freddy that are some of my favorite scenes of the whole series. Then you've got the awkward scenes with the coach.
Jesse. Oh yeah.
The awkward scenes with the coach. His pulls his pants down. You've got the weird what's the word for it? What's the word?
S&M.
There's the S&M and there's the section.
There's a lot. Yeah. Well, we might as well just we might as well get it right. There's a lot of homoeroticism going on in this.
We did it. Yeah.
But yeah,
an awkward, weird feel to a lot of scenes in this.
And here's a little quick thing for you guys. The writer of this film said that he wrote the script. Jesse, the main character in this movie, was bisexual. Okay, that was fact. The director said when they shot this movie, they didn't even know that was how it was written. They just latently brought this out, and they were like, later on, they're like, oh, this has got so much homoeroticism in it. They're like, we didn't know.
This is the thing. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that being in a movie or whatever, but in this particular movie, in a horror movie, in a Freddy movie, when you're watching it, and it's not blatantly supposed to be that way, but there's just this undertone feel to it, it just kind of makes it weird, and you don't really know what you're watching, and you're kind of... I don't know. It's just it makes for awkward storytelling.
It does. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, it was just like what I don't know. It just Yeah, I'm not going to really touch it any further. Most people hate this scene, and Wes Craven himself hates this scene. The pool scene, I think it was like almost near the end of the movie, where Freddy jumps out and he's all talking. He's like, "You're all my children now." That's like, and the fire's behind him, and just the way they shot his face, and he's kind of like looking at her, and he's got these wide eyes, these demonic-looking eyes, and this weird grin. Dude, that was like scary.
That whole pool scene, like it's the pool scene is the perfect example of the entire movie, because on one hand you've got Freddy going nuts on people out here, and it's a scary scene. Like everybody's
going crazy shit. Yeah. What the shit? Yeah,
he's going fucking crazy on people,
yeah.
And you're like, this is awesome. Like he's tearing into people, and it's scary and it's freaky, and he's like lost his shit finally, and that's awesome. But at the same time, you're thinking, why is Freddy in the real world? How does he making the pool water get hot and making everything go crazy?
Yeah.
Like he has all these new powers that we didn't know about. Yeah, he's psychic now. He's demonically possessing him. Half the story doesn't make sense with what you know about Freddy, and that bothers you. But at the same time, even though maybe that doesn't fit into what your idea of Freddy is, it leads to some pretty cool scenes, and that's why this movie is so awkward, I think.
Dude, in that pool scene, Freddy is randomly slashing people. He's just randomly killing people, and that's what he, Wes Craven said that's not what Freddy Krueger's about. He attacks people in their dreams. He goes after specific targets and maniacally and intelligently stalks his victims. He's not just wildly slashing at people.
So there's some of the grossest stuff in this movie. Some of the when Freddy's comes out of that dude's body,
that was awesome.
And you see his face coming through his body, you're just like, oh.
He like slices him open.
Fuck nuggets.
When Freddy stands up and he tilts his hat like this and kind of smiles evil-like at Grady, I'm like, that is badass.
Yeah.
Like it just looked cool.
Just like when they're at the end, when they're at the boiler room, and the dogs.
Oh yeah, that was
creepy as shit.
Freaking human faces
makes
on
no
those.
sense. Has nothing to do with
the nightmare stuff.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with the Freddy lore. But still creepy as shit.
The very first scene, the bus scene, and most people remember that scene where they're on the bus and they're driving, and then Freddy takes them out of the desert, and they're like, whatever. That is the most pointless scene I've ever seen in my life. Terrible. Because it has nothing to do with the movie.
And they closed the movie the same way, the same type of scene. And I hated the opening scene in this movie. And I hated the closing scene in the movie. They were both cheesy and unnecessary. When he goes upstairs, like, this is the Freddy Krueger, this is Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Yeah.
We're wanting more of that same crap. And what do we get? We get a scene where he goes upstairs to clean his room, and we watch him dance to
Touch me, baby. Drive me. I don't sing.
And he's like doing this with like the broom.
But that goes back to the homoeroticism.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like this is a Freddy movie.
Most of the music was a pretty good departure from the first one.
Yeah.
The first movie had a lot of music that added element and added suspense to the scenes. Some of this music for this one was so out of place.
And that's the problem. Like, this movie has its good points and it has its bad points, but most of its bad points lie in the fact that you're taking this iconic character and you're completely taking a departure with him.
Yeah, and that's where the debate comes in. A lot of people are going to debate that for a long time, whether or not Freddy Krueger was just totally out of the element. It wasn't a Freddy Krueger movie, it wasn't a slasher movie like it was supposed to be, like in the same context as Nightmare on Elm Street, or if it was just in a different take, but it was still good in its own way. I'm more in that camp. I'm more in the way, yes, it was different. Yes, it was a departure from the original one. No, they did not answer, which was stupid, and that detracted. They did not answer the cliffhanger from the first one. The first and second one really have zero ties with each other than Freddy Krueger and a brief mentioning of Nancy from the first film. What happened to her, what happened to the friends at the end of the movie never was mentioned.
They find her notebook and whatnot.
And they barely touched on the history of Freddy. They did a little bit more. He worked in this boiler room, but I don't give a fuck if he worked in that boiler room. I want to see his fucking house.
Yeah.
Show me his home. But they didn't show that. But whatever. Other than that, I don't think this movie is as bad as people say it is. I think it gets a bad rap.
You might have a problem with the possession part of it.
It was still a tightly told possession story.
But I thought that was creepy. I thought that was creepy. I thought the scenery was creepy. I thought some of the acting was terrible. I thought some of the scenes were unnecessary, and it just seemed like the director just didn't know what kind of feel he wanted for the movie, so the whole thing's kind of choppy. Like, these kids are weird and they're awkward and you're not sure how you feel about them, but by the end of the movie you kind of care what happens to them.
Jesse, I think that he looks a lot like Luke Skywalker. When I watched him, I was like, Mark Hamill. His acting wasn't that bad, honestly.
It would go from it would go from decent and really quick drop to the bottom, and then go back up again.
By the way, I'm going to say this really quick. The shower scene with the coach, that was unneeded.
Yeah.
Slapping you in the ass until you die from it.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Are you going to take somebody and slap their ass cheeks until they die? The pain hurts. And when Jesse's standing there and the steam from the shower kind of fills up the room, and then Freddy's standing there and starts walking towards him. That was badass. But why would Freddy Krueger, even in a dream world, even in real life, why would he take towels, wrap them, and slap somebody's ass? I'm going to give this movie a 7.0. I think it's a solid movie. I don't think it's the most amazing Nightmare on Elm Street movie, but I don't think it deserves the hate that it gets. I think that there's really good strong points that people give it a chance, they'll enjoy it.
I'm right there with you, man. 7.0 for me too. I have a lot of problems with this movie. Some of this movie is really bad, but entertainment-wise, I enjoy watching it.
Is Freddy Krueger 2, if you've seen it, is Freddy's Revenge as bad as everybody says it is, or is it an okay movie? Let me know. Let me know. Let us know. Let us feel it.
Next up, Dream Warriors.
We don't need to see next up. See you guys. Oh well. Rate, comment, subscribe. Oh,
See you guys. See you guys.
Freddy, no!
See you guys.
See you guys. Rate, comment, subscribe. Mike's going. It smells like cheese.